Spartans! What is your profession?
Oh, we're the land of the free, the home of the brave. Through the storms we rise, through the winds we wave. We stumbled, we fall, but still we stand. There's no better place than this promised land.
From the mountains high to the prairie's edge, to the rivers wide where the eagles pledge. This is the land that holds our dreams, a patchwork quilt with golden seams.
The small town streets, the city lights, the mountain peaks, the starry nights. We've got our scars, but that's the truth. A story of strength in the land of youth.
Oh, we've got our scars, but we wear them proud. Through the darkest nights we've never bowed. No storm can break what's built so strong. This is our home, where we all belong.
Fields of amber, skies are blue. Every hand here has work to do. We stumble, fall, but we rise again. This is the heartland where hope won't end.
Oh, we've got our scars, but we wear them proud. Through the darkest nights we've never bowed. No storm can break what's built so strong. This is our home, where we all belong. Through trials deep, through fires and rain, we stand as one. Endure the pain, our spirits fear. Forever strong, our destiny.
So here's to the future, bright and true. We'll carry the torch for me and you. Thick and thin, in this great nation we always win.
Oh, we've got our scars, but we wear them proud. Through the darkest nights we've never bowed. No storm can break what's built so strong. This is our home, where we all belong. From the rivers wide to the desert sands, we've built our dreams. With these two hands we might bend, but we never break. A spirit of hope no storm can take.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everyone doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Tech Coach Ralph. We are engineered to win. Yes, we are. Whew, what a past couple of days it has been. I don't know, this year has had some many high points, but also some many low points. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. What can we do but continue to move on, continue to press forward, and we have to go out there and win. So tonight, I want to get into working on something I've been working on the past couple of weeks. I am making so much progress with my Indico events management, building out our custom plugin. So I'm going to be focusing on that, showing you some things that I figured out, some things that I discovered. I will show you that it's actually working, but now I'm like customizing it to make it better. Let's see. I have some topics that we're going to be touching on in the breaks, from Ukrainian ransomware and from OpenAI getting permission to make some money, all that good stuff. But to start it off, I'm gonna take care of some housekeeping first, and then I'm gonna give some additional thoughts, and then we're gonna get to work, right? So first and foremost, I just want to say a big thank you to all of the subscribers to the channel, those who are with me every single show on live streams and comments of videos, all of that good stuff. Those who are brand new to the channel, those who have been with me for a very long time, whether you watch from the clouds, whether you're very active, whatever it may be, I just want to say a big thank you so much for your support, for allowing me to add just a little bit of value into your life. I truly appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
And I just gotta say a big shout out to all of the Patreon members, my tech barbarians, my technical explorers, those who work so hard day in and day out, those who join me on our vibe code and chill sessions as we continue to explore, try things out, just share, collaborate, have a great time while we're doing it. We are here to learn, but we also want to have a little bit of fun, all right? So shout out to you guys. We are the best.
We the best.
And shout out to the YouTube members of the channel who allows me to come on here day in and day out, get this tech content out across the entire, yes, the entire world. Thank you so much for your support. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right, quick announcements. Tomorrow we are going to be premiering we're going to be premiering the Bug Bite, where we are going to be, what are we talking? We're talking about Anthropic. Are we talking about Anthropic? I think we're talking about Anthropic. I don't remember, but it's gonna be good. All I know is gonna be good. Join me tomorrow at noon as you find out with me. You're gonna find out with me what it is that we're talking about. All I know is gonna be good because I looked at it and it's some good stuff. It is some good stuff. Let me see if I can find out what it is about. Let me see. Do I have what it's about? It's about it's gonna be really good. It is about Anthropic settling their lawsuit. So you guys knew that Anthropic was getting sued by authors for pretty much pirating their books. Well, they have just settled the lawsuit. And how much did they settle for? How much did they settle for? Well, tune in tomorrow and you shall find out what was the settlement. Has it been approved yet by the judge? What are the authors going to be getting who had their books pirated by Anthropic? All right, so there is no Vibe Code and Chill session this weekend because we had it this past Saturday. We do have a Scrum Night coming up on Sunday, so I'm looking forward to seeing you there. I had released the Vibe Code and Chill session in the Patreon. I think it was last night, maybe this morning. It is over there, so you can. And I'm going to be clipping it up as well, so you guys. So it's not like a whole 2.5 hours. You can see the things that are relevant to you, all of that good stuff. I'm going to put those in the Patreon as well. TechCoach.dev. Sign up today. Join us for our next Vibe Code and Chill. Going to be putting out way more content in there as well. So tune in. Let's have a great time. Let's work together. Let's go out there and win. All right. Before I get into the next topic, I am going to say hello to the chat and then I am going to share some more thoughts. All right. So we got my guy, as always, my guy Junior in the building. What's up, Junior? What's good? What's happening? Junior says, what's up? What's up? What's up, family? What's good with you, Junior? Hopefully you are having a phenomenal day. All right, let's do this. All right, let's do this. So, we all know what happened to Charlie Kirk yesterday, and it was horrific, right? But then, even more horrific is the responses to what happened, the sentiment of people over something like that happening to another human being, and it's really disgusting, right? But it also reassures me, right? Because a lot of times people say, oh, why are you so mean? Why are you so tough? Why are you so hard? Oh, we got to work on you and all this type of stuff. And I'm like, I'm good because my goal is to help those who want to be helped, and sharing this tech content, maybe providing you a better opportunity, a better chance to actually make a difference in someone's life, in a company, and whatever, and who knows who you're going to touch, right? But I personally do not go looking to go back and forth with people, because guess what? No matter how hard you work, right, there is always going to be people who are rooting against you, who are going to be celebrating your downfall. And I'm like, me, I am not the one. I'm not that far removed, as the song says. I just be chilling. I just be working. I just be staying to myself, doing what I got to do, taking care of my family, taking care of my kid. I like the reason I started at 8 o'clock today is because I just came from the first T-ball practice with my son, and he's a baller. He is a baller. right? But at the same time, like I'm not arguing with you guys on anything, whether it's tech related, whether it's life related, all that stuff, because I like look, I am who I am. 41 years on this earth, and I see things the way that I see things, and the way that I see people respond, like the evilness that I see people responding to just it could have been it could be any one of us who this happened to, right? And I can't even imagine there were like I can't even imagine type of responses that like with like the viciousness and vileness to his wife and his kids, and it's like for me I'm like, you know what, I rock with those who rock with me. I chill. I'm not looking to talk or argue or debate with people about anything, anyone. I just be chilling to myself, right? You got a difference of opinion, cool, great, good, have a good life, whatever. But the way that I see how people are from the attempt on the life of President Trump last year, right? And the responses and even like last week when the president is like, oh, we haven't heard, like for Labor Day, we're like, oh, we haven't heard from him for a few days, and then it's like, oh, I hope something happened. I'm like, are you serious? But that is the state that we live in, right? If you can't beat someone with words, what do you beat them with, right? It's a shame. It is a total shame, and it's wicked. It is evil and wicked. And for me, I'm like, yep, you guys want to try to change these people's hearts and stuff like that. Go have at it. Do what you got to do. For me, it's not my fight. It's not my fight. I try to make a difference in the lives of the people who want a difference to be made in their lives. Come with me on this tech journey. Let's go and win together. Let's work. Let's work all day, all night. I don't I don't care about excuses. I don't run in the victim Olympics. I don't care for people who run in the victim Olympics. Have a nice life, have a nice day. Me, I work. I work. And the part that really annoys me is that today is September 11th, right? I remember 2000 2002 2000 let me see. What year was it? Was the year was 9/11 2002 or 2001? Is it '01? Yeah, it was '01. Yeah. I was in 11th grade. And what in the world? What's my camera? What happened to my camera? Hmm. Hello. All right. Oh, I don't know what happened to my camera. But I was in 11th grade, and I remember it had to be like it was first period because I was going to the college campus for dual enrollment. And I remember they called everybody in, and they said that like something was happening with the World Trade Centers, and all of a sudden all of us were sent home, and I just couldn't make sense of what was going on at the time. And a day before 9/11, when everyone's getting set up, getting ready for the memorial and all of that, and such a vicious assassination like that happens. And I saw a video. I was watching Jason Whitlock today, right? And I saw a video where someone was like cheering next to, like, right after it happened, like they were like celebrating. Someone there was I was like, I've been disgusted since yesterday, to be honest with you. Um, and I didn't even follow him that closely, but I knew of his work, and I knew of what he had produced, his body of work, and the people that were close to him. I knew of them, and it's just sickening. It is just sickening, the reaction of people when tragedy happens. So I I don't I don't have no time for it. I just stick to myself, stick to doing my tech thing, stick to building my application, stick to taking care of my family, stick to the ones who want to win. Though that's my focus. If you want to be a loser, and you want to do evil, vile things, then you go and do those and whatever, right? But that's me. I'm just over all of this nonsense. If you guys want to quote unquote fight the good fight against trying to change the heart of demons. I remember when Jesus casted a demon out into the swine, and then they just said, you know what, I'd rather be the swine, the pig said, I'd rather be dead than have and they jumped off a cliff, said, I'd rather be dead than have demons inside of me. But we as humans so openly, so welcomely have demons living inside of us doing all this terrible, terrible things, and it's sickening. It is sickening, like from the attack on the bus to what's happening in these schools. Like yesterday there was also a school shooting as well, and it's sickening. So for me, I'm gonna focus on the things that add value to my life, to add value to your lives, to add value to my family's life, and I focus on this tech thing. I sleep, like, I wake up and I work. Before I go to sleep, I'm working, all that. So I work. That's the way that I get away from everything. I just work. I just want to go out there and win. All right. All right. Junior says 2001. Yes, it was 2001. I remember. I was in high school, and they called us in. It was like around 9:30, 10 o'clock ish. They called us in. They said, "Oh, there's been something really, really bad that happened. We're not sure exactly yet what's happening, but we're sending everybody home." That's how bad it was. They sent us all home that day. And just on today, September 11th, that's why I started with the flag, and I started with the song from the Captivity album, the land we love. I love this country. I love this land. I love being, and the thing is, right, being from like my ancestry, my family is from Haiti, and just a few years ago, the president of Haiti was assassinated. They broke into, I guess, the what they call the palace over there, and they took him out, right? And just seeing like this stuff happening here in the United States, two attempts on President Trump. What happened to the lawmakers in Minnesota? What happened to Charlie Kirk? What's happening in these schools? And like every time it just has to be politicized, and it's stupid, right? But what it makes me think of is like, are we turning into these third world countries, like where people can't talk, people can't communicate, people can't debate? It's like, oh, I don't like what you said, so therefore I'm going to you, right? No, nope. Protect yourselves, protect your families. Um, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do to protect yourself. And you know, for me, I chill. I stay to myself. I'm working. I'm doing jujitsu, taking my kid to do his activities and all that type of stuff. But I'm just chilling. I am just chilling. Because you can pour your life out for the world, for people, and they're just going to like they're just going to attack the people. They're gonna make the people who you love feel even worse. And I can't even imagine what Charlie Kirk's wife is going through right now, in mourning, but then seeing the viciousness and the vileness that is taking, um, the after effects of what people are doing and saying about her husband, which everything that they're saying, those what those people are saying is not true, right? So whatever. It is what it is. It is what it is. But this that's that's where we live in. That is where we live in, and that's why for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna chill. I'm just gonna work. I'm just gonna win. I'm just gonna run it up. I'm gonna run it up, and love me or hate me, it is what it is.
Let's get it.
All right, let's get to work. Let's go. I want to work. I want to work. I really really want to work, because when things suck, you know what makes me feel better? Work makes me feel better. So I am going to work. But before I work, I'm gonna check the chat real quick. See, excuse me. See what my guy Junior has to say. Junior said that it was 2001 and says, I was in New York City when the Twin Towers went down. Uh, then later, after it was cleaned up, we went on a trip to Ground Zero and saw the huge hole in the ground. That's rough, man. That is rough. Like, that's rough. Ugh. And I've heard stories about it too. And the thing is, like, at that age, I think I had been to New York once before, and I had seen the Twin Towers. But even so, like, for people who are not like from New York, they don't understand. Like, it was impactful to the rest of the country, but if you're not in New York, like, I can only imagine how much more impactful that it is, because you probably had somebody close, somebody who lost their life in it, or who someone who was supposed to be there, but for some reason they weren't, and they lived by the grace of God. So I can only imagine how that was. So it's rough. It is rough, and just like all these crazy things that happen. And for me, like I said, I just be chilling. I just be chilling. All right. Junior says, I love this country too. Yes, indeed. We got my guy Magnetar in the building. Hits us with the Sith. Coach Ralph.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Shout out to my guy Magnetar for also for what in the world is going on with this thing? Hello, hello, hello. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this camera. It keeps going in and out. It keeps going in and out. I'm not sure why, but we'll make lemon out of lemonades. Probably need to unplug everything and plug it back in. But if I do that, we lose the show. So I am not going to do that. We are going to get. I don't know what is going on with this plugged up stuff, but if it keeps doing it, I'm just probably gonna say, you know what, forget it today. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But let's give it a try. Let's give it a try. Why don't we? So, basically, what we're gonna be working on is I've been working on getting this plugin stuff to work. Oh, hold on. Let me let me check the chat real quick. Let me see. Let me see. Magnetar says, I was 19, unemployed, and living in my parents' room, listening to the radio and watching ESPN when it happened. That's crazy. I was like, I had to be like 16-ish, 16, 17. I was in the 11th grade. I know that. Let me see. Junior says the sound guy from our church in NYC was in the towers when it went down, and that sucks, man. That really, really sucks. Says, wow, the force made you disappear. I don't know, like, this thing has been going in and out since I came on live, but I'm gonna see what we can do with it. Hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully, I just moved. Maybe something is touching the cord. I just moved it. So whatever. Anyways, let's get to work. Let's get to work. When I'm not happy, when something is bothering me, I just work. And I love to troubleshoot. I love to see code working. Like, if I was a car, like, if I knew how to work on cars like that, when like I would have the nicest cars, because whenever I'd get annoyed and pissed, I would just go work on my car and add some new features to it. So, but because I'm not a car guy, I am a tech guy. So I just build, I just work, I just figure things out. So with that being said, let's get to work. All right. So I'm gonna put 20 minutes on the clock.
It's time to do.
So when we last left off, I was on Sunday, I think it was, we were working on getting the Indico events software, open source software, to try to send Slack notifications, right? And I was troubleshooting, and I have learned so much over the past couple of days. I can actually show you something, right? Let me see. Let me pull up the Slack thing real quick, and I am going to go here. And if I go to here, I know that's all right. So what I'm going to do is all right. So here's what I have. Let me go here. Go here. Yeah. All right. So here is my so here's my Slack, right? And in my Slack, I got so what this plugin is doing, is it is sending notifications of when a event is about to start to this channel that I have here, right? But I also wanted to send an actual notification, a direct message to the person who is attending it, right? So I created the chat bot in Slack, and now my plugin is or my chat bot is actually sending a message. So here is where it's sending a direct message to the person saying that, oh, your session is about to start in 15 minutes, right? So that is what I've been working on. That is working. But I wanted to make some modifications. I wanted to make some enhancements because there are so for a meeting it's working fine, right? But for a conference, I'm trying to adjust that. So I'm gonna go into um Indico, right, and show you a couple of things that I did. If we go to here, and so inside of here, if I go to administration and I go to plugins. So I made this plugin where I can actually so at first when I did it, it was hard coded inside of the like the Python code, but now it is actually where it's like a full blown app, which I can probably externalize this app and make it available to whoever. But I put my bot token as an individualized message, and I put the webhook URL, and I found out how to hide it to make it as password so people can't just see it. So it is in here set up. It is working properly. So now what I'm working on next is actually being able to get the messages to send to the actual to the actual person based on a conference. And the issue that I'm having is all right. So if I go in here, I'll show you where I'm at now, right? So if I go here, so I created this plugin, right? Or I created the test conference. And let me see details. I chose the activities that I want to be part of. So 14:30 to 15:30. But the issue is I need to make sure that I can find this event because Indico doesn't have a way to send notifications for a particular what they call a contribution, a particular event. So what I ended up doing was creating this activities field and saying that they call it sessions. So if we go into here and we go to timetable, so they have these sessions, right? And as part of the session, I added the contribution to that session. So it's kind of overhead where you'd have to create like a session for each contribution or group of contributions and add the attendee to that actual session so that they can get the actual messages. Another thing that's kind of semi annoying is if we go to administration and we go to, let's say, users maybe. Let me see if I can create a new account. So something that I want to do is to when a user is being created, so basically you need to get the Slack member ID for the user, right? But the way that they had me set it up was putting the Slack user ID on the registration form. But most people aren't going to know their user registration or their Slack ID, and it could be different from Slack to Slack. Being that the primary goal of this is creating it for my company, we should have a some type of database that has our the Slack member ID associated with the person's email address. So when we set up our SSO, we should also be able to pass in that Slack user ID, so we just have it, so people don't have to enter it themselves. So that's the goal. That's part of that's part of like when we are creating an account. I want to have that detail of which I guess I can find that out later where to actually put that. But right now, today's number one goal is to get the Slack working properly. And the way that I've been doing that is I've been going to the Indico shell to try different things out before I actually build the container and all that stuff, because it takes time to build a container and test it that way. So I'm like, all right, let's make sure that this is working. When I go into the shell first, and then if that's good, then we can actually go to building everything out and going there, right? So what I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna show what I have been doing. So here is the Indico shell command, right? And it's actually, so what I do is I ask Gemini, how can I'll show you my Gemini, right? Because it's very, very cool how this is happening. So inside of Gemini, make sure this is a little bit smaller so that you can see it. So, jeez. Okay. So inside of Gemini, I'm asking it, okay, so this is what I want to do. And it tells me, all right, update your chatbot with this, right? But I say, okay, can we test this first? Can we test this first to make sure this is working properly? And once I see that's happening, then I'm like, all right, cool. Now we can build it. So it says inside of the Indico shell, run this, and when I ran it, it actually so this is saying, all right, this is the code for the to run it inside of the shell. And when you run it, you put your email address here that you're registered with, and then you put the contribution that you're going to attend, and it's going to run all this Python code over here, and it'll tell you if a notification will be sent or if it would not be sent, right? And I'm doing it through the Docker exec. So right now I'm inside the container, inside Indico shell, and it says so when I run it, it says successfully loaded registration for Techo Draft, checking contribution, Slack notification contribution. Contribution belongs to session 1. User did not select any session in the activities field. And it says no match, a notification would not be sent. So if selected session IDs, user selected session ID during registration. All right, so it's saying that I don't have a session ID. I don't have the session ID selected that would be for this contribution, right? So let's go back into Indico to try to get that configured properly. Okay, so if I go to my registration, Slack plugin test. Oh my God. What's going on with this? It'll be back. So annoying. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if I don't know. Let's go to see details. Let's go to modify. So I'm just gonna check all of them, to be honest with you, right? Just to see if it's gonna work, right? And I am gonna go to back over here. And if we go up one, so it says user did not select any session in activities field. but I know I have sessions selected in activities field. So why is it not let's see, selected sessions next, registration data. If selected session IDs, user selected session IDs during registration. I know I have it selected. Says contribution belongs to session 1. All right, so what I'm gonna ask Gemini. So I'm gonna tell Gemini, actually when I did that though, let me see something. When I did that, if we go back to the last prompt, because I wanted to see if the session, so if I copy this one, actually I think I have it in PyCharm somewhere. But this, like, there is a lot of exploration involved in this because it's not something that you're just going to. A lot of people they just depend on AI to just give them the answer when it really doesn't work that way. It's a lot of like inspecting and trying to figure things out. All right, so activities field value 3 and 4. So it's not seeing that I did session 1. Email address. All right, so let's see. First name, last name, affiliation, Slack ID. Doesn't have a Slack ID in there. Let me see why. It doesn't have a Slack ID. Let me go and find my Slack ID. Copy member ID. Save that. So it says that I'm registered for 3 and 4. Why am I not registered for? I should be registered for the other ones too, though. All right. So what if I try to add this contribution to? So let's go back to over here. What if I try to edit the event? And I go to contributions and I go to so this is okay, so this is 3, this is 4, right? And I say session test. And I go to timetables, test, go to timetable, and I add new contribution, and I say that belongs to it. All right, so now what if I go back to over here? Is it not updating? I feel like it's not updating. Let's go back to so let me get this one to see. Wait. Oh, I'm on this one. If I go here, see, I feel like it's not updating because it's no longer part. All right, let me exit this. Something weird is happening. So contribution belongs to session 3. User did not select any session in activities field, right? So that's what it says here. So this is correct. But if I go and I copy this one, where I am testing to see what is assigned to the user, right? So activities 3, 4, 1, and 2. Three, four, 1, and 2. So that means that something in here is not right then, because it says, if we look down here, selected session IDs for, so rd.data for rd and registration data if rd field data dot title is equal to activities if selected session IDs, user selected session IDs during registration. Why is it not finding that then? Maybe I can put a print selected session IDs. Let's see what happens if we do that. Because it should find it unless something is wrong. But you'll see what prompt I use to try to figure that out. And let's go to back to WebStorm, and if I go here, so all right, so it says contribution belongs to session 3. Selected session IDs is none. However, the other one says that it found it. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We are going to say when, so you'll see this prompt right here. I'm gonna copy that. I'm gonna paste it in Gemini. When I run this, I get, so what I'm saying is when I run this prompt, right, I get this information right here. Am I doing registration ID 5 though? That's a good question. Am I doing registration? I should be doing registration ID 5. Let me make sure though, because that would be a problem if I wasn't. Well, I'm doing it with the email address. Inspecting. Okay, so that one does do the registration ID. So, all right. So when I do that, or okay, so when I do that, I get this, and then I'm gonna say, but when I do this, however, when I do this one, it's not finding the session IDs. And I go here and I go to get the error message that I'm getting, which is going to be this, or not error message, just not finding it. All right, so it's not finding it. So what I'm doing is I'm saying, what am I putting in and what are the results that I'm getting? Because they're kind of like opposite results. And that's not the way that it should be working.
Lunch break, lunch break.
Let's see what's the results that we get, and then we will go to break. Shout out to everyone watching on Arena as well. Appreciate my Arena folk. So this is a perfect bug report. You use 2 scripts to perfectly isolate the problem, and the answer is right in the conflicting outputs. The first inspection script proves that your registration data is correct. It successfully finds the activities field and shows it contains 3, 4, 2, and 1. In the second script, it fails because the condition is returning false, even though it looks like it should be true. This almost always means there's a very subtle, invisible difference between the field titled, the title stored in the database, and the string you're comparing it against in the script, like a hidden space or a different character that looks the same. Give me a break. We'll run one last diagnostic script in the shell. This script will loop through each field, prints out the title, and then prints the true or false, comparing its string activities. Okay. Let's run this one and see what happens. If I go back to the shell and I go here and I say run, let's see, take that. I mean, it says true. No, it says true. So here is the output. All right, so I'll leave it with that. We'll go to break. We will have our first break. Hopefully the camera plays nice with us. If not, we'll just figure it out as we go along. Magnus says, wow, wowzers. The force made you disappear. Where's that one? Where is it? All right. First break time topic is about our good friends over at OpenAI. So it says that OpenAI secures Microsoft's blessing to transition its for-profit arm.
Money. Hey.
So let's see what this is about. This is from Maxwell Zeph, written today. It says OpenAI announced Thursday it reached a non-binding agreement with Microsoft, its largest investor, on a revised partnership that would allow the startup to convert its for-profit arm into a public benefit corporation, a PBC. What is a okay? So let's see. What is a public benefit corporation? So a public benefit corporation is a legal structure for a for-profit entity that operates with a purpose beyond just maximizing shareholder profit, instead aiming to create a specific public benefit. Oh, that's so sweet. The articles of incorporation for a PBC must state a particular purpose, public purpose, such as environmental, social, or community-focused goals. This structure legally allows the board of directors to consider the interests of a wider range of stakeholders, including employees, communities, and the environment, in addition to the shareholders' financial interest. Dual purpose of PBC is both a for-profit company and a social enterprise legally committed to generating both profit and defined public good. Aw, that's so sweet. Legal structure is recognized entity with its specific requirements for formation and operation defined by state law. Transparency PBCs are often required to report their progress towards their stated public benefit goals. So I will probably never open up a PBC. Well-known companies like Patagonia and Kickstarter have adopted the PBC structure using their legal status to pursue social and environmental missions. Yeah, after I'm not going for it. I am not going for it. Anyways, the transition should it be cleared by the state regulators could allow OpenAI to raise additional capital from investors and eventually become a public company. In a blog post, OpenAI's board chairman Brett Taylor said, under the non-binding agreement with Microsoft, OpenAI's nonprofit would continue to exist and retain control over the startup's operations. OpenAI's nonprofit would obtain a stake in the company's PBC worth upwards of $100 billion. Taylor said further terms of the deal were not disclosed. Microsoft and OpenAI have signed a non-binding memorandum of understanding, a MOU. It's called a MOU for the next phase of our partnership. The company said in a joint statement, MOUs are legally binding but aim to document each party's expectations and intent. So basically, Microsoft and OpenAI, they got a prenup. It's good. It's good. It's good. We are actively working to finalize contractual terms in a definitive agreement. The joint statement added, I'm just saying, if it's good enough for Microsoft and OpenAI, then why is a contract not good for everyone else, right? The development seems to mark an end to the months of negotiations between OpenAI and Microsoft over the ChatGPT maker's transition plans. Unlike most startups, OpenAI is controlled by a nonprofit board. The unusual structure allowed for OpenAI board members to fire OpenAI's board members to fire CEO Sam Altman in 2023. I remember when that happens, there was a lot of uproar. Altman was reinstated days later, and many of the board members resigned. They resigned. However, the same governance structure remains in place today. Under their current deal, Microsoft is supposed to get preferred access to OpenAI's technology and be the startup's primary provider of cloud services. However, ChatGPT is a much larger business than when Microsoft first invested in the startup back in 2019, and OpenAI has reportedly sought to loosen the cloud provider's control as part of these negotiations. That reminds me of a DMX song. Right? It starts off like this, right? I made a deal with the devil, and the price was cheap. And it's cold on this level, but it's twice as deep, right? That's how OpenAI is saying right now. It's like, oh man, what did I get myself into? They were like DMX in Belly, made a deal with the devil. It's cold on this level, and it's twice as deep. Rough Riders. Right? That's how they feel. This is OpenAI right now.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
They trying to get out of that. They trying to get out of that bind. I hear you. We see you, and we hear you. Right? In the last year, OpenAI has struck a series of deals that would allow it to be less dependent on Microsoft. OpenAI recently signed a contract to spend $300 billion, yes, $300 billion, with cloud provider Oracle over a 5-year period starting in 2027. According to the Wall Street Journal, OpenAI has also partnered with Japanese conglomerate SoftBank on its Stargate data center project. Ooh, Microsoft must be pissed off right now. Taylor says OpenAI and Microsoft will continue to work with the California and Delaware Attorney General on the transition plan, implying the deal still needs a stamp of approval from regulators before it can take effect. Representatives for California and Delaware Attorneys General did not immediately respond to TechCrunch's request for comment. Tensions between OpenAI and Microsoft over these negotiations reportedly reached a boiling point. They were pissed. They were pissed off. Right? Pissed off. In recent months, the Wall Street Journal reported Microsoft wanted to control the technology owned by Windsurf, the AI coding startup that OpenAI had planned to acquire earlier this year, while OpenAI fought to keep the startup IP independent. However, the deal fell through, and Windsurf's founder were hired by Google, and the rest of the staff was acquired by another startup, Cognition, who also owns Devon AI. We have used Devon AI plenty of times on this site, on this channel. In Elon Musk's lawsuit against OpenAI, which is at its core accuses Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, and the company of abandoning its nonprofit mission. Obviously, the startup's for-profit transition is also a major flashpoint. Lawyers representing Musk in the lawsuit have tried to surface information related to Microsoft and OpenAI's negotiations over the transition. Musk also submitted an unsolicited $97 billion takeover bid for OpenAI earlier this year, which the startup board promptly rejected. They laughed at it. They said your little 97 billion dollar bid. Get the heck out of here, Mr. Musk. However, legal experts noted at the time that Musk's bid may have raised the price of OpenAI's non-profit stake. Notably, the non-profit stake in OpenAI PBC under this agreement is larger than what Musk offered. In recent months, nonprofits such as Encode and the Midas Project have taken issue with OpenAI's for-profit transition, arguing that it threatens the startup's mission to develop AGI that benefits humanity. Oh, that's so sweet, caring about benefiting humanity. Aww. Could OpenAI and Windsurf and the Midas Project and Encode make it possible so that people can go to a college campus and speak without the threat of getting, you know what, right? Is that possible? If you want to talk about humanity, let's talk about humanity that way, right? Somebody can just go to have a conversation, debate people without getting fatally harmed, right? I'm just saying. Always talking about humanity, but whatever, right? OpenAI has responded by sending subpoenas to some of these groups, claiming the nonprofits are funded by its own competitors, namely Musk and Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Encode and the Midas Project deny the claim.
They ain't believing us.
There you go. But that's that. That is that story. But it looks like OpenAI is looking to becoming a PBC, a player hating degree. Nope, not a player hating degree. It is a public benefits corporation. At the end of the day, it is all about the money.
Money. Hey.
How dare you?
Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is, right? But that is it. OpenAI, they got Microsoft's blessing to run up the bag. Let's go out there. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right. We are going to get back to work. Right? Getting back to work. We're going to be looking at what happened, what's going on, why can it not find our contribution, right? I know that it works with meetings, regular meetings. You know what? What if I'm gonna check something. Let's put up another 20 minutes.
Let's go!
All right, so if we go over to here, let me see something. If we go into Indico and we go to, let's go over my profile. Let's go to this one. Let's go to edit. Could I add a, let me see. Let's say if we don't do a contribution, let's see. Add new. So it has to be a session block. A contribution belongs to a session block. Okay, so all right, so I was gonna see if I could add a meeting, but what if we? That's not. No, that wouldn't work. Cause it's a conference. Let me see. Let me take a look at some configurations real quick. So if we do, let's say we go home, we do create event, meeting. See, that's just like one meeting though. Event title. Let me see. Test event. Because it's not a conference. Let's say we did this, right? And inside of the meeting, timetables, add new. See, it's the same thing for a meeting though. Whether it's a conference or a meeting, it still ends up being the same thing. And you can have different stuff as part of the meeting. All right, so let's not worry about that. All right, so let's go back to this screen then. And let me see what's happening over here. All right, so the output is perfect. It definitely proves that the logic is correct. The last two lines are the most important. This test confirms that your fields in the database is exact with no hidden spaces. The Python, all right, works as expected. The error you saw in the previous script must have been caused by a What? No, it wasn't. The diagnostic script proves that the underlying data. Let's see. I'm not updating the Slack thing until I can see this working. This doesn't make any sense. So this is correct. So why does this one found title field? So if I'm here, why is it not finding any upcoming contribution? Wait, what is this upcoming contribution? Checking contribution title. All right, so let me copy this one again. Let's run this one. So contributions that belongs to session 3. Selected session IDs, none. So let's compare the code between, maybe I do it on this one. If you look at the code, make this one smaller. If I look at the code between contribution session, upcoming contribution dot session, all right, we got that. This contribution is not, all right, so we got, let's see. Wait a second, upcoming contribution. That might be an issue. So if we look in here, it has the field. So this one says could test. All right. Let me see. If we look here, this contribution is not inside a session. All right, fair. Checking contribution, upcoming dot title. Well, it finds the upcoming contribution. It sees what session it belongs to, but it says that I'm not registered to any particular session. But when we look, it says that. So basically, it's saying that I'm not part of session 3, but it is here. What if? All right. So what if we do? So as a Slack member ID. Where is that activities? Oh, wait, looking at. So if we look at over here, contribution ID, this is the one that it's not finding. What if I was to say, selected session IDs, rd.field data, rd for data and rd.registration.data if rd.field data says if selected session IDs get the list of how would we do, because like it's not finding this. Let me see something. If I go copy, there's three of these. So if I go up one, field data. So what if I was to say, what it belongs to? What if I just do this, right? What happens if I do this? Just RD can be all right, so it's undefined right now. What if I say for RD, what if I say, this, right? For RD, so here's what I'm gonna do. Or what if I do, for now, I take this off and I try to run this, right? Now we're just like troubleshooting to see what we're going to get. So if we go to here, contribution belongs to session ID 3. User did not select any sessions in the activities field. So see, it's still showing none. All right, so what I want to do then is, there was I missed a bunch of stuff. Hold on. Wait, did I? Hold on. Let's copy. Let's copy that and paste that in there. String requires not int. Okay. So let's say we were to say we take this. Something in here is not. All right, so if we were to look at this registration data, go up to this one for RD and print item found. So it finds the registration data. Let me do that one again. Seems like a silly prompt to be having, to be honest with you. So found data, registration data, 53412, finds the Slack information, finds all of that as an array. And if we then go to this one, where it says from, all right, so from users, okay, got that, contributions, got that. User.email, okay, first. Upcoming contribution dot get test contribution ID. Oh, you know what? If there is multiple registrations, it could be getting a Because it says get the first one, right? How do we do it up here? So this one we said, well, no. Well, no, registration ID is 7. Oh, that's the first one, right? So let me go to, so this one, user email. Okay, this one also uses the first, and the first one does get the right information. So then this one should get the right information too. User query, user email. So that's actually good. And it finds the contribution, upcoming contribution ID 1. And it's part of a session. So the question, okay, I have an idea. Is there a way that we can make sure both scripts are using the same registration ID? Because sometimes these AI models just want to move on, and I'm like, nope, we're not moving it on. We're not moving on until we figure this thing out, right? We are not moving it on. We're not moving on until we figure it out. All right, so okay, so let's do this one. Registration to test, found registration ID for this person. It is now stored in the registration to test variable. Let's copy this. Let's go to this one first. Could not find registration for event. Oh, my bad. So let's go to, where is that one supposed to be? Oh God, hold on. Let's go to, paste that. Your conference title is Slack plugin conference. Oops. Slack plugin test conference. And let's do that. And go here and do that. All right, found registration ID for ID 3. You see that? But we should be using registration ID 7 because, oh, I see, says the blind man. And that, my friend, is why we cannot find it. Because now if I go to, so if we go back to Gemini and we say, run your test using the variable, and we were to go to, wait a second. All right, so we got our variable, right? And now we go into this one and we say, this. All right, so found fields, right? For registration ID 3. And then we go and we take this one. So test B, test contribution ID, right? So I already see the problem. I already know what the problem is, right? Test contribution ID. So this one has to be I already got the problem. Let's go to, this is gonna be, I think 1 or something. So if we go to this one and we go into here, the user, yep, I got it. But if I was to choose, so if I was to do this, right? If I was to go into here and I say, where is it? User selected session ID, contribution session ID. If I was, where are they setting the, registration to test variable is not set? Where are they setting this registration? Oh, right here, registration. Okay, so I figured it out. I figured out the issue, right? So basically the issue is when a user registers for different events, the email address can end up having, can end up being assigned to the same, or being assigned to multiple or can end up having multiple registration IDs. And since we are doing, where's that code that we're doing? Since we're doing, the issue is right here. I'm going to show you where it is. It's this one right here. Since we're using the first, but since we are using first, it will choose the first registration ID found. No, not necessarily. Hold on. Where's my, all right. So first, where does it, all right. So how is it finding the registration ID? For registration and user registrations, if registration dot event ID equals upcoming contribution event
Lunch
ID.
break, lunch break.
So let me, all right, I'm not gonna say what the problem is. All right, so the issue is the script is finding the event or the registration ID of 7 or of 3 when it should be finding the registration ID for 7 with that user's email address. How can we make sure the script is finding the correct registration ID? Or let me take a look at the code one more time. Upcoming contribution. All right, got that. And then it says user email. All right, got that. Registration. Find the user's registration for the contributions parent event. Okay, all right, so the question is, how can we get the last registration ID? How could we end up getting the last registration ID in case the user's registration was deleted and then they registered again? So that's what it is. It's finding the first registration ID. We need to find the last registration ID for that user, because the last would probably be the most accurate one, because if it was removed and it was added back. But we'll let it do its thing. We'll go to break. We'll take care of our second break, and then we shall come back to this. Let me see. My guy Junior said, I didn't know DMX also had a song talking about selling his soul. Yes, he did. I think it was on the. I'll tell you exactly which album it is. I think it was on. Oh my god. Let's see. Let's go over here to here. I'm gonna tell you because that was a good song. It's actually, I think it was actually the that was the intro line of Belly as well, right? DMX, I sold my soul to the devil, and the price was it was on the first album. Yeah, it was on the first album. Let Me Fly. Uh, says I sold my soul to the devil, and the price was cheap. And yo, it's cold on this level, cause it's twice as deep. But you don't hear me. Ignorance is bliss, and so on. And that was also the intro to Belly. That was also the intro to Belly. Yep. It says, I can go back to full. Says, as you also said, I see it's a trend among these artists. Yep. Junior said, let me see, where's that one coming in? Let's see. He says, I only know the popular songs, never listened to any of his. I adored DMX when I was growing up. I adored DMX when I was growing up. He was conflicted. He was a conflicted soul. He was surely a conflicted soul. But he was a good actor though. He was a good actor. He was a good actor. All right. Let's jump into this next topic, which is about the Ukrainian bounty, $11 billion. Is it 11 billion? 11 billion or 11 million? Let me see. We shall find out. I think it's 11 million, right? 11 million, not billion. $11 million bounty on a Ukrainian ransomware mastermind. Let's take a look at that, right? So, the United States of America places 11 million bounty on Ukrainian ransomware mastermind Taimo Shumuk, allegedly stole 18 billion from large companies over 3 years. That is a lot of money. $18 billion over 3 years from large companies. Says Vladimir Taimo Shumuk is accused of masterminding ransomware that disrupted 250 companies in the United States alone. The United States has, let me zoom in on this. It says, the United States has placed, oh my goodness, word. The United States has placed an $11 million bounty on Vladimir. They keep trying to make me say his name, right? Whatever. On Vladimir, right? A Ukrainian man wanted for his involvement with a string of ransomware cyber crimes. Mr. Vladimir faces severe federal charges for his part in reportedly masterminding the theft of a combined $18 billion over a 3-year period. Wow.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
Mr. Vladimir is accused of being the kingpin behind the Mega Cortex, Locker Goga, and Nephilim attacks, a string of attacks that were active from December 2018 to October 2021. The Mega Cortex attack, which we covered in 2019, changed the Windows passwords and encrypts the files of a host computer, threatening to make sensitive files public if ransom went unpaid. Oh my God.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Mr. Vladimir is a serial ransomware criminal who targeted blue chip American companies, healthcare institutions, and foreign industrial firms, said U.S. Attorney Joseph Nokia Jr. in a statement from the Justice Department. One of the highest profile theft links to Mr. Vladimir and Locker Goga was the attack on Norsk Hydro, a renewable energy company based in Norway. The attack on Norse caused a reported $81 million in damages, and all of its 170 sites were impacted at some level.
Bruh.
That's harsh. That is harsh. Nokella continued, for a time, the defendant stayed ahead of law enforcement by deploying new strains of malicious software when his old ones were decrypted. Today's charges reflect international coordination to unmask and charge a dangerous and pervasive ransomware actor who can no longer remain anonymous. Come out wherever you are, Mr. Vladimir. Vladimir is alleged to have run the Locker Goga and Megacortex offenses from July 2019 to June 2020, at which point the two ransomware viruses were largely dark. From then on, Mr. Vladimir is accused of having helped to engineer and administrate the Nephilim ransomware strain, selling access to it to attackers in exchange for 20% of ransom funds received from each successful attack. That is money. Imagine if they would use this evil for good. In an unsealed indictment archived by the Register, lists a number of unnamed victim companies from across the United States and from Europe. Mr. Vladimir is on the hook for 7 total charges relating to intentional damage to a private computer and threatening to disclose private information. If found guilty, Mr. Vladimir faces a maximum sentence of life in prison. Life. They gave me life. You gonna eat your cornbread, Art? You gonna eat your cornbread? Ain't nobody getting my cornbread. That's how do you say that in Ukrainian? Let's find out. Let's find out. Let's go to translate.google.com. We're gonna search for Ukrainian, and we're gonna say you gon' eat your cornbread. I should have did ebonics. So this is how you'd say you gonna eat your cornbread in Ukrainian. And let's you guys won't be able to hear. Hold on. Because you guys got for Mr. Vladimir's sake, I want to be able to translate this. I want to be able to translate this so he can know. When they ask him if he's gonna eat his cornbread, so that he can have a good understanding. All right, so let me see, general, and where are my sounds? Let me see, audio, and we're gonna say captures all the time. All right, so this is how you say in Ukrainian, you gonna eat your cornbread. Let's see. I wonder how Google's gonna say it in English though.
Eat yo cornbread?
Oh, come on. That's terrible. That is terrible. But this is how you say it in Ukrainian, all right?
Ти будеш їсти свій кукурудзяний хліб.
I repeat. This is how they say you gonna eat your cornbread in Ukrainian.
Ти будеш їсти свій кукурудзяний хліб.
And you know what? Just for good measure, how do you say it in French? In case he ends up in a French prison, you know?
Tu vas manger ton pain de maïs?
Tu vas manger tu pain de maïs? And for good measure, in case he ends up in a Spanish prison, doing life.
¿Vas a comer tu pan de maíz?
Vas a comer tu pan de maíz? And lastly, in Russian, in case, God forbid, he ends up in a Russian prison.
Ты собираешься есть свой кукурузный хлеб?
There you go. So, Mr. Vladimir, I have given to you in a myriad of languages how you would say you gonna eat your cornbread. Here, one last time in Ukrainian for you.
Ти будеш їсти свій кукурудзяний хліб.
All right, so there you go. There you go. In case they catch you, Mr. Vladimir, and you have to say, and you have to find out, they ask you in Ukrainian if you gonna eat your cornbread. All right, so there you go. There you have it. All right, so the Locker Goga Megacortex and Nephilim schemes seem fairly different from one another in hindsight. The tools utilize Metasploit. We've used Metasploit before, and Cobalt Strike penetration testing software that could be weaponized by the attackers, who then stayed under the radar on the victim's network for sometimes months before launching the attack. Megacortex reportedly broke containment in November 2019, originally intended for use exclusively against corporate targets. The ransomware soon spread to individual computers with certain vulnerabilities. Conversely, Nephilim affiliates and administrators specifically kept their target to companies valued at 100 million or more. Jeez. According to the indictment contradicting contemporary reporting, which found Nephilim MO to be companies worth over $1 billion mark, right? So, and here's the funny thing, right? The same people celebrating atrocities are probably the people who are going to be championing Vladimir, who has to learn in Ukrainian, you gonna eat your cornbread. But that's what they champion. That's who they champion. No, that's not me. That is not me. Nope. It says if Vladimir is successfully extradited to the United States, he'll face an uphill battle in the U.S. court system as he is linked to the already extradited Artem Sistrak, Volodir's co-defendant in the trial. All right, there you have it. Good luck, Mr. Vladimir. Hopefully you get caught and brought to justice, especially, well, I don't know. I don't really want him to be brought to justice in the United States because he's gonna be treated all nice and stuff, and he's gonna have rights and all that. Nope. Find him where he's at, prosecute him where he's at, and have him ask him, and you know what? Send him to El Salvador. However, do not give. See, but if you send them to El Salvador, then you're gonna have these senators who are gonna be all and have their panties in a bunch. Like, we have to go down to El Salvador to make sure he's all right. We have to go make sure he's all right. Sorry, not sorry.
Bruh.
Nope. And then they're gonna end up having a martini with him. It is what it is. It is what it is. Good luck to you, Mr. Vladimir. Let's go back to full screen. All right. Let me check the chat, and then we're going to get to our last working segment for the day. Junior says, Junior is finding the you gonna eat your cornbread hilarious, as you should. Says, always fighting over food in prison. Look, Junior, cornbread might be the closest thing that they have to cake in prison, right? So that cornbread is serious. Junior says, I see you said the French and Spanish, but you don't want to touch the other two. I wouldn't even know where to start. I could barely say his last names. I wouldn't even know where to start. So it is what it is. But all I know is he's gonna have to learn in a myriad of languages. You gonna eat your cornbread. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
All right, let's get into our last segment. But however, I do want to say a big thank you to the sponsor of the show, Resume Flow. I know they have told me that they're releasing some updates to the sign up flow to make it more user friendly. So hopefully we see that in the next coming days. But go check out resumeflow.com or resumeflow.app. Upload your resume, get some feedback on it. See how you fare against the ATS to see how applicant tracking sees your resume, and go from there. Also, do me a favor, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content. Also, go to TechCoach.dev, sign up, join me for Vibe Code and Chill. Join me for I should be updating my resume soon. All that good stuff that we do, so that we have a lot of fun. Somehow this past Saturday we went down a rabbit hole of talking about do you remember the name of that taco place that we looked up? We looked up the name of a taco place, and I forgot the name of it. And then we saw this 1969, 1970 Ford Maverick, and then we looked up the Ford Maverick, and it was like, wow, that's a pretty nice car. And then it was just a whole rabbit hole from there, right? But that's what we do. That on Saturdays, I have no problem getting distracted because I'm hanging out with my friends. We are talking, we're hanging out, we're sharing different concepts, different thoughts, different motivations, different disciplines. We were talking about pew-pews on Saturday as well, you know. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Join me for Vibe Code and Chill every other Saturday. Let's go out there. Let's get it.
Let's get it.
All right. Let's get to our last working segment, and then we're gonna get out of here.
It's time to do.
All right, so let's see what it said over here. It says, all right, you've heard diagnosed the problem. When the user has multiple registrations for the same event, even if the previous ones were deleted, the simple script was just picking the first one it found. We can examine this. We can fix this by specifying by specific asking database for the newest registration for the user and the event. The problem, finding the first versus the newest. All right, we got that. The list contains all of the user registrations and the order isn't guaranteed. Your script found ID 3 first and stopped, even though the newer ID 7 existed. To solve, we need to tell the script to sort the registration from newest to oldest and then, okay. So let's say we do all of that, the user, your test conference title, the contribution ID, and then we query filter, let's see, registration query filter, order by registration. All right, there we go. That's what I want to see. Okay, cool. So let's try that, right? So we're going to copy this. Just do this, copy that, and let's go to PyCharm, and I'm going to go to, let's go to there. And we have the email conference title. What is conference title? It is Slack plugin test. Slack plugin test. Contribution ID would be 1. So we copy, where did that come from? I thought I put a bunch of enters. Right, let's go here. Copy that. And we go back to our shell. Where's our shell? We go to WebStorm and we're going to paste that in there. Enter. Could not find any. Oh, all right, because I put the name wrong. All right, that makes sense. Of course, you won't be able to find it because that doesn't exist. Slack plugin test conference. All right, there we go. But like the thing that I'm like, I would love for them to end up using this, and the people that I've spoken to, they're really excited about it. But one way or another, like I am super, super happy that we have done all this work and oh, let's go. Let's get it.
We the best.
There we go. It found it, right? Found the latest version of 5 for Tickle Drop. All right, so, and it has, all right, so I guess it was 5 instead of 7, but there we go. So let's see, contribution session ID 3. User, okay, perfect. So now that we got that, how do we put that as part of, all right, so that worked. How can we make sure okay, that worked. What is the right code for the plugin .py file that will ensure that we find the latest registration? Oh, yeah, the latest registration ID, because that works, right? It's registration ID to trigger the notification. Let me just check one last thing. All right. Yes, a notification will be sent. Let's go. All right. So let's get that code. I was hanging out on the Courtney Egger Show podcast channel last night, and he was talking about a part of AI, and there were so many people in the chat who were like, "Oh, I would never use AI. I don't trust AI." And this is why I am the way that I am. I don't like when people get left behind, people crying about, "Oh, give me a livable wage," and but they don't want to work. They don't like. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it because you put yourself in the position to be left behind because you don't want to adapt. So many people, "Oh, AI, it's the devil, it's this, it's that." No, you know what? AI is your job saver. It is what's going to keep you making a living in the future, right? So that's why I have a cold heart. I do. All right. Let me see. This said, excellent. Now that we've confirmed the correct logic, we can apply the same robust query to your final plugin. The key is to modify send notifications function. When it processes the conference contributions, instead of grabbing all registrants, it will now find users who are interested in that session. And then for each of those users, it will find their single most recent registration for that event. Perfect. Okay. Let me see. I want to. I know I'm gonna have to take off the logger part of it because that didn't work. So let me copy this, and I'm gonna go over to plugin.py, and we are going to copy all of this. Delete that. Enter. We're gonna do this, and then anywhere that says the logging, I'm gonna take that off because it didn't work. Logic for finding who to DM. Let's take this off because that doesn't work. Take that off. Take that off. I wish it did work because it would be good to have some logs in there. All right. I wonder if I could add in a emoji in there. Wave. All right, so you subscribe to it starting in about 15 minutes. All right, so there goes the neighborhood. Slack member ID. I want to change this to be honest with you, but I'll leave it for now. Just because I can change that later on. Let's see. So what I'm going to do, I am going to build this. All right. So what I've been having to do, we go here. So we have to build it. Then we have to bring down our Docker container, and then we run it again. All right. So what I'm going to do is, let me see here. Okay, on Arena. Shout out to Pistol McSquish. Shout out to you, Pistol McSquish. Over on Arena. Shout out to my Arena people. Says this is very cool. Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Pistol McSquish over on the Arena side of the game supporting me. And shout out to Dr. Mama Puma from the other day. I think it was Tuesday, or I think it was Sunday, who looked out for me on Arena as well. All right. So we are going to build this Docker image. Docker Compose build. While that's building, I'm going to shut down the Docker container. So basically when it's building, the reason that I baked it into the Docker image is because it needs to be applied to Indico Web, Indico Celery, and Indico Celery Beat, because Celery Beat is what it uses to get the scheduled task. So that's how it's able to do the notification, right? So every so often it looks. So now I'm going to Docker compose down. Let's see. Let's see. All right, so that's done. Let's see if all right, so it's building right now, the container. So it takes, because it's a pretty big container. It's about 3 gigs. So, and I've had to like go out and clean I'm sorry, not the container, it's building the image. I've had to go out there and get rid of some older images, but we should have it for standalone meetings. It sends the information, and for the next thing that I want to do, right, which I had asked it about, but I haven't implemented yet. I don't want to have to put the Slack member ID on the registration. I want it to be as part of the user's profile. So that's probably gonna be, if I don't get it done before Sunday, then we'll probably do that on Sunday. But we were really close to finishing this part of it, because I think at this point, the if we get the notification, so I have to wait. But if we get the notification, then our plugin is working. The last tweak to the plugin at that point is make it as part of the user profile, so that when we import our user, we set up our Okta, which I won't be able to do on this stream. To set, will I? I don't think I'll be able to do it. Let me see. Let's do it. Let's do something real quick. If I go over to Okta, let's see what Okta has. Okta single sign-on SSO. Well, that's not really what I want. Secure. Oh wait, so securely connect your users with up to 5 apps free using Okta SSO and MFA. Huh. Up to 5 apps. Let me see. If I do single sign-on, try for free. Free trial. Start your 30-day free trial. Start securing your employees and work partners for free. 30-day free trial. Maybe on Sunday, part of DevOps. Maybe on Sunday, part of DevOps, I'll see if I can configure Okta for the free trial, so that I could see if I can connect my Okta or this Okta to Indico. So I have to set up a single sign-on and see if I can connect, because I have the documentation on how to do it, right? So I have to see if I can actually connect Okta to Indico and have as part of the user profile in Indico in Okta the Slack member ID, so it can automatically be part of the user's profile. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna look into it. Maybe that'll be a good idea for Sunday. Let's see how far we're able to get. But just throwing different ideas out there. All right. Let's go. All right. So this is built. Let's go over here and we're gonna do Docker compose up force recreate. So it's recreated. I'm gonna do Docker. Just go up to that here. Docker logs -f to see the everything up and running. Let's make sure that our Slack plugin didn't crash anything. Sweet. So while that's there, now I'm gonna go over to here. Not here. We're gonna go here, and we're gonna go here, and I'm going to ooh, I got an internal server error. What happened? Something's not all right. Let's go back to something didn't work out too well. What broke? No Python application. Ooh, why is that? All right, let me take a look. Something didn't. I thought I removed the logger. All right, hold on. Okay, I see what that sucks, because now I have to go and build everything over again. So I missed one.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
Yep, there goes the one that I missed right here. That's not gonna work. All right, let's go and build it again. Sucks to be me. Let's do that. Let's shut it down. Docker. Let's go. Docker compose down. Now I have to wait for the whole thing to build again. We have to wait for the whole thing to build again. I have a question for everybody though. How much time is left in this segment? 5. All right. So how many people? A lot of people had opinions. On the whole Ray Lewis, Patrick Bet-David, Shannon Sharp comments, right? From how long was the clip? Let me see if I can find it. YouTube. Let me see. Shannon, Ray Lewis. PBD Shannon. That was the whole show. So it was a 3 minute and 33 second clip. It was a 3 minute and 33 second clip where the whole world had opinions on, mostly negative opinions on Shannon Sharp, based on a 3 minute and 33 second clip that Valuetainment, that Patrick Bet-David's company, released on why Shannon Sharp, on why Ray Lewis said that he is shocked by Shannon Sharp's content because never in a million years he thought he'd ever be doing that, and that's why he chose to go his own way, right? So tons of the internet exploded with opinions on that. Shannon Sharp trying to play the victim over the whole situation, right? But here's my question to you. How many people went and watched the entire interview, the 1 hour and 40 minutes and 32 seconds interview with Patrick Bet-David and Ray Lewis to get the full context of everything, that the before and the after of what Ray Lewis said that led to that, answering that question, and what he said post? How many people watched the whole interview with Ray Lewis and Patrick Bet-David? Because the entire world watched a 3 minute and 33 second clip, and they had a lot of opinions. How many people went back and watched what he said before and after that part of it? I'm curious. I am curious. Right? Because I know I watched. I'll show you. You don't believe me? See this right here? That whole red thing line under it means I watched the entire thing from start to finish. All right. I watched it on 2x, but I watched it though. I watched it. All right. But I'm curious, who went back after all those opinions were said and done? Who went back and watched it to get some additional context? Or was the 3 minutes and 30 did the 3 minutes and 33 seconds say everything for you, that you know that, oh, Ray Lewis, he's a this and he's a that and blah 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 blah. You know? So that's my question. And as after you get done with this segment, with this working session, then I want to talk about it a little bit more, right? All right, let's go ahead and do Docker Compose up. Let's get some logs in there. We got our logs running. Make sure we don't have any errors in there. Looks like we're good to go. All right, cool. So let's go over to all right, so we're gonna go over to here, and we're gonna refresh. Make sure we're good. Yep, we are good to go. Or I guess it was this one. Just refresh. Awesome. All right. So now what I need to do is I can update this time to be at 10:20. Yeah, 10:20 should be good. So we're gonna go to here. We're gonna go to edit this. I'm gonna go to session 3. I think, yeah. Let's go to timetable. We're gonna go to what is this? Test contribution. I'm gonna move this one to start time 10:20. And the hope is that we get a notification for that. I'll move this one to 10:20 as well, because oh no. I just want to get my notification. All right. 10:20. All right, so there they go. Is there a contributions part? There is 2 contributions part of this one. There's 0 contributions part of it. Oh, okay, this is the one. All right, so there's no contribution here.
Lunch break.
There's
Lunch
contribution
break.
here. All right, there it goes. So, boom, 2. All right, so what we'll do, we shall wait. Well, we're not gonna wait. In about 5 minutes, we should see if we get a notification or not. But what I'm gonna do while that is pending, let me see, where's my Slack? While that is pending, I'm gonna have this over here. Ooh, ooh. Wait, no. Okay, wait. Ah. Let me see what's going on over here. Let's go to team management 943. Oh, I got one at 943. So that's good. So something worked. But let's see. All right. So what I'm looking at over here, I am waiting for. So we should be getting a notification in about 5 minutes, and we should be getting we should be getting an app notification in about 5 minutes as well. So I'm gonna go to the Q opportunities one, leave it there, and then but we're gonna go back to full screen. So I'm gonna take the chat real quick, and then we're gonna talk about this, right? So Junior says, here's what I want to talk about, right? Here's what I want to talk about. So did Ray Lewis put beliefs over friendship? Although at the time they were not really friends, but Junior says nobody went and watched the full interview after everyone reacted to the 3-minute and 33-second clip, right? Junior says, I didn't care enough to watch it, but like you said, if we want to have a strong opinion, we better do research to get the context. So I watched it because I like Ray Lewis. I like what I love his intensity. I love what he his energy, his work ethic, his performance on the field, how he rallies the troops and all that type of stuff, right? So that's why I watched it, because honestly, what he said about, like, I did not care whatsoever one way or another about what he said about Shannon Sharp, because I don't know Shannon Sharp. I don't know Ray Lewis. I'm like, this is just information. This is how he feels, whatever. But I went to watch it because I was just curious. And plus everybody was like, oh my God, Ray Lewis is the worst person in the entire world, and all that stuff. So I'm like, you know what? Let me go and watch it to see because Junior, what do they always say when you quote a Bible verse, right? They say, read the 5 verses before that verse, read the 5 verses after it, maybe even more. Maybe you gotta read the whole chapter to make sure you're not taking out of context, right? So Patrick Bet David smartly, because I'm sure he made. I don't know if that clip made a lot of people go and watch the whole thing, because people just they like to have a strong opinion on a very, very when you watch a lot of these shows, right? On YouTube and stuff, they'll show you a short, like a 30-second short, and now there's like hours of discussion over this like, and it's like, all right, there's not much context happening over here, right? But so I went and watched it just because I like Ray Lewis, and and he talks about his faith and his beliefs and what he rocks with and what he doesn't rock with. So my question was, like, to me, I was like, when I heard the initial clip, I'm like, well, is he just putting his beliefs over his former friendship? Because he's like, we're not even really friends. Like, we don't talk. Like, we're not close. We're not cool. And he shared how he was badly hurt by who he thought was his friend. And now, because people don't have the context, or they don't care for the context, now they're also like, oh well, he should have picked up the phone. Well, Ray Lewis said back in like 2017, well, he's saying this about me, but he has my number. He could have picked up the phone. So now he's like, well, if I didn't have, like, and he said something so he said, like, he lost all respect for me, like I'm a child. I'm 42 years old. That's what he said at the time. Right. So it's like, if somebody tells me, like, oh, I lost all respect for you, I'm like, I don't give a I never asked for anybody's respect. Right. So it's like he was saying back then, it's like, oh man, like he knew me, he could have contacted me, whatever. But he was trying to sun me. Right. And now, like, but people don't care. about what happened in the past. So now they're like, oh well, he could have picked up the phone, and that's his friend. Like, well, we're not. Like, he's like, well, we're not. Like, what he said, like right after that, we're not cool. Like, we don't talk. You know. So he's like, I'm from the person that I knew. There are plenty of people that I knew back in the days that I'm like, man, I can't believe like that. Like that's the route. I remember I had some friends over the other day, right? And my friend asked me, "Hey, like, have you heard from so and so?" Um, and I was like, "No, I had reached out to that person a while ago, to see how they were doing, but they never responded." I was like, "Oh well," like, like for me, I do not chase people whatsoever. I will never, ever, ever, ever chase people. And some people are like, "Oh, what happened to this person that used to come around?" I'm like, what I'm like, I'm me. I'm not changing for anybody, right? But then my wife was like, oh yeah, because you had said this thing to them and they got mad about it or something. And I was like, I did? And he's like, yeah, you had said this thing and they got bothered by it. And I'm like, well, if the shoe fits, if the shoe fits, you're either going to change your shoe or you're going to walk around with hurt feet because you did not want to listen to the person who said, "Hey, your shoes are too small. You need to change them. You need to get some bigger shoes." Right? So I was like, okay, whatever, whatever, you know. But that's what I saw from it. People keep saying, "Oh, you know, Shannon Sharp was there for Ray Lewis when he was going through his whole that whole incident that happened after the Super Bowl and stuff like that." And here's my question is like, in what exact way was Shannon Sharp there? Was he like a shoulder to lean on? Was he like a moral support? Because from my understanding, and what I was watching Jason Whitlock, and what Jason Whitlock was explaining was that part of the problem that they had was Shannon Sharp trying to pit Ray Lewis against the owner of the Ravens when it seems like the owner of the Ravens played a big part in Ray Lewis's life when he was going through that whole situation. So it's like, you know, um, I don't know, like me, what I personally don't care about people enough to talk about them. Like when people come like, "Oh, like what happened to that person?" I don't know. Like, and usually I don't know because I don't care. You know, so I'm not gonna talk on anyone for any reason. I just like I stay in my lane, I stay my distance. There's so many people like there will be people like everyone has a season, right? But but the thing is, Ray Lewis values his beliefs and his faith above all else. So it was like if there was somebody that he used to be cool with and they are doing what they believe is leading people down the wrong road, he's gonna say, I don't rock with that. And I can't say that that's wrong, right? I can't say that that's wrong because there's one thing if to me it's like there's one thing if you go your separate ways for whatever reason. But if you think somebody's truly doing harm, is that not do you like do you have an obligation to call it out? Right? So I don't know. That's how that's how I see this whole ordeal. That's how I see the whole ordeal, right? If you think somebody is directly going against what you believe, should you say something about it? Or do you just stay silent out of an ex friendship? You know, I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, let me check this thing really, really quick. I don't think it worked. I don't think it worked. Let me check the logs real quick and then we're gonna get out of here because it is already 10:08 over here. Oh, something didn't work out too well. I thought I got rid of that. Hold on a second. I'll go back to this on my own, but it didn't work because it was gonna be triggered, but I found another entry for the logger. That's dumb. It was gonna work though. I think it was gonna work because I could see that it was triggered, but for some reason it failed. Something caused it to fail. Let me see. I thought I got everything out of there. Let me see. Logger. I could have sworn I deleted it, but apparently I didn't. So let's get those out. Let's get those out. I could have sworn I got them out of there. All right. Oh, maybe I got them off from the wrong spot. I don't know. Huh. What in the world? I could have sworn did I not delete these? Because I said that these don't work. So I could have sworn I took them out. Whatever. All right. Okay. So I'll go ahead and rebuild this and I will get this working. It's gonna work because that's how it's able to get these logs that it was gonna trigger. But it is what it is. All right, let me check the chat real quick before we get up and out of here. Junior says, let me see. Junior says that I put my belief in Jesus Christ over friendship all day, any day. I hear that. And the thing is, they're not even friends. And he felt that he got crossed by his brother. And honestly, he didn't even say anything bad about him. He just said, this is not the person that I knew. That's all he said. That like the person that I play with, that's not the person that I knew. People were like, oh, well, it's promotion and he was playing football and he shared something about his family. Maybe it was public knowledge, right? I don't know. It says, and sometimes the chapter before and after. Thank you. Junior says, the more that you know, and great show as always. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Junior. By the way, next time we see Miss Freckles, we have to make sure we rebuke her because she said that she was going to be here. She's not here, and I am severely heartbroken. But the show must go on. The show must go on. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Remember, tomorrow we have the bug bite. We're going to be talking about the Anthropic lawsuit settlement from pirating thousands of books. All right. Let's see what happened. What was the outcome of that case? Yeah, that's about it. That is about it. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content. TechCoachRalph.dev, sign up today. I just released our last vibe code and chill session. It was really good, really informative. Go check it out. All that good stuff. All right. Yeah, you guys have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful Friday. Run it up. Let's not take any days off. TechCoachRalph, we are out.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Oh, we're the land of the free, the home of the brave. Through the storms we rise, through the winds we wave. We stumbled, we fall, but still we stand. There's no better place than this promised land.
From the mountains high to the prairie's edge, to the rivers wide where the eagles pledge. This is the land that holds our dreams, a patchwork quilt with golden seams.
The small town streets, the city lights, the mountain peaks, the starry nights. We've got our scars, but that's the truth. A story of strength in the land of you.
Oh, we've got our scars, but we wear them proud. Through the darkest nights we've never bowed. No storm can break what's built so strong. This is our home where we all belong.
Fields of amber, skies are blue. Every hand here has work to do. We stumble, fall, but we rise again. This is the heartland where hope won't end.
Oh, we've got our scars, but we wear them proud. Through the darkest nights we've never bowed. No storm can break what's built so strong. This is our home where we all belong. Through fires and rain, we stand as one. Endure the pain, our spirits fierce. Our hearts are free, forever strong. Our destiny.
So here's to the future, bright and true. We'll carry the torch for me and you. United we are through thick and thin. In this great nation, we always win.
Oh, we've got our scars, but we wear them proud. Through the darkest nights, we've never bowed. No storm can break what's built so strong. This is our home, where we all belong. From the rivers wide to the desert sands, we've built our dreams. With these two hands we might bend, but we never break. A spirit of hope no storm can take.